Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are maple nut muffins. What I like about these muffins is that, well, in choosing the nut, it's really up to you. I mean, you can use chopped walnuts, chopped pecans, peanuts, really whatever type of nut that you prefer. And the flavor with the maple, well, it's really a great tasting muffin. So let's get started. First, let's start off with the dry ingredients. And you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And in those 2 cups, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to stir that in with my spoon. And a pinch of salt, just a pinch of salt. And then we're just going to set that aside for the moment. Now, working on the wet ingredients, you're going to need 2 eggs. I've had them at room temperature, and you first want to beat them alone. Now, again, you don't have to beat them for very long, just so that they're broken up quite well. They don't have to be, you know, pale yellow and that type of thing, beaten that long. Okay, now, of course, you can use your hand mixer if you prefer. The next thing I'm going to put in is a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar to the eggs, and then I am going to beat it well. And that was a 1/2 cup. I'm going to raise my speed just a little bit to combine those 2 ingredients. And then you're going to put 1 cup of milk in. And just combine that. The next thing we're going to put in is 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Now that's going to be up to you what type, what brand that you want to put in of your maple syrup. And then again, I'm just going to combine that. The last thing we're going to be putting in is oil. And you're going to need 6 tablespoons of oil. I'm using sunflower oil, but you go ahead and use whatever type of oil that you prefer to bake with. And that was 6 tablespoons. Okay? Now all we're going to do is really combine the dry with the wet on low, a little at a time. And again, with these muffins, you don't want to overbeat them because you don't want them to become dense and heavy, you know, in its texture. You just want to make sure it's combined well. So I'm just going to raise my speed for a second. Okay, and you can see it took very little beating time because all you want to do is really combine it. You don't want to overmix or overbeat. Okay, and then with my spatula, I'm just going to make sure to clean the sides and get to the bottom of my mixing bowl. And then I'll show you what the mixture looks like. It's very, very silky, very satiny. Okay, now you're going to get 12 muffins out of this recipe, and I'm just using my large scoop to put them into my liners. And again, you'll want to fill them so that all 12 are equal in size. You don't want them one bigger than the other and them to, you know, bake differently, that type of thing. But you'll get 12 nice muffins out of them. Now, you will be baking them at 400 degrees, and they'll take you anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to bake up. Now, for the nuts. What you'll want to do is probably have a little bit more than 1/4 cup of chopped nuts. And just once you get your, you know, them filled, just take a little bit and then sprinkle as much as on top that you want. You don't have to put a lot. And again, you choose the chopped nuts that you like. Okay? Start checking those muffins though early. I like to check mine sometimes about, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, because as we know, all ovens set up so differently. Now when they do bake up, they will look like this, and they are quite impressive. They will bake up very nice and tall for you. You can see how pretty the nuts look on top of these. And let's cut one open here to see what they look like with removing the paper liner. Now when they do come out of the oven, let them sit on your cooling rack for a few minutes, and then take them out of your muffin pan and let them sit and continue to cool on your cooling rack. Now you can bake these, after you bake them, you can serve them warm or cold, and with a little bit of butter or jam. They're great with a cup of coffee or tea, that kind of thing. And let's go ahead and cut one open, because I'd like you to see the inside if you can. It's again a very light, very tender, yet moist muffin. And I'm just going to take a fork here to kind of show you the flake, how nice and light and flaky that's coming out just with my fork. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they really come out looking like pretty little muffins, but they taste so good. So, well, if you give this recipe a try and you like them, leave a comment, because I'd like to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Diane Lovetobake. I'll see you soon.